hooked up right now so you can hear me. That way you can hear possibly anything that I add to the video. At this point, just kind of keep your questions to a minimum, and then I'll get them at the end of this video. This is only going to be about 5 minutes. So, once again, complexity through pattern. We're just going to quickly make a part, which you all know how to do. I'm just going to make a quick extrude boss base of I'm going to make like a rectangular extrusion on the right plane. Draw some shape. I don't even particularly care about the size, but for good measure, I'll make this a 1/2 inch tall. I'll make this 1 inch wide. And once again, I'm just demonstrating how to do a pattern, okay? I'll do a circular pattern in a second, but first I need something to create objects on. So let's make this 6 inches in length and say okay. Okay. So once again, we were trying to just make some patterned complexity. If this was a texture, if this was an extruded hole, if this was something like on a spaceship or whatever, and you want to see a pattern, remember, this is non-technical. I just want to show you how to make the pattern. This is how we're going to do it. So first, we are going to do, let's say, a sketch on this surface. So we're going to do a sketch pattern, okay, that I'll maybe extrude cut or extrude boss base. So first I'm going to create a line, center line, that isn't going to be geometry, that is going to be my model, but it's going to be a guiding line. So I snap to one end of my part to the other where this pattern is going to take place on this linear path. It's a center line so that it's hidden. SolidWorks doesn't think that it's actually part of the model geometry, but you will see how I use it in a minute. I'm now going to make some sort of geometric shape for today. It's just going to be a simple rectangle, or we're going to call it a rectangle. I'm not even going to dimension it. At this point, when we're going to do patterns, you can take a look here. We have linear and circular. We're going to choose linear at this point. It's just going to ask 2 questions. What is the thing that you want to pattern, and what direction? Oh, 3 things. What is the direction you want it to be patterned to? And then how many of them do you want? Simple as that. So I'm going to go to linear sketch pattern. Over here on the left, the x-axis is already selected. All right, I'm going to clear this at the moment. And if I want to select a specific line, I can click an edge of the part, and it would go that direction. So this area here is the direction that you want the pattern to propagate in. So I'm going to hit delete and choose my hidden line. There we go. No. It is selecting, unfortunately, my shape and the line to go in the direction that I want, so I don't want that. So as you can see, it's bouncing on both sides because this line is selected, which I don't want. I'm going to quickly click X because it's too confused at this point. We're going to go back to linear sketch pattern. It's going to ask the questions. So we're going to click this line that the direction is going to take place on. We're going to come up with a number of how many we want. And then we are going to also choose the objects that we want to pattern. Right now it has my line. I'm going to delete this, clear the selection, and I want this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be the shape you'd want to not create multiples of because it's going to create a lot of work. And the direction that it should go in should be, let's clear the selection, should be this line. And it should give us an arrow and an indicator. And I don't know why it's not. So let's click the edge of this part. Still not doing it. It's always fun to see. There we go. Make sure you have a multiple here. Now, this 2 is misleading. It is the number of things you receive, including your original. Okay, so if you wanted 3 in total, you would put 3. You wouldn't add 2 and assume that the first one was already there. Okay, and then the direction, it can go either side. So if I zoom in, you see that arrow. You can go this way, you can go that way, or you can go a second direction. So you can create horizontal and vertical arrays 2-dimensionally. So if you need to make 10,000 squares this direction and that direction, it could create the area of them. So I'm just going to figure out the spacing between them, and here's the spacing between them, right? Let's go the other direction so you can see it. So if you needed a lot of space between them or you needed them fairly close together, I'm going to do mine close together. because I want to show the varied complexity of this demonstration. So let's just zoom up or out and create. I'm just going out. I wouldn't want to draw all these, right? And then let's go a second direction just for fun. Hopefully this works. Click this. And then let's give it the same, not the same spacing, 0.2. Let's see what 0.2 looks like. And let's go the other direction. Up. Oh, that's the distance. 0.2. All right, I'm just going to say OK. And at this point, I have a ton of sketches that create the shapes of the things I want to do. So I can now take this and apply an extrude boss base to it. Obviously, when you do this, though, you're going to increase tremendous amounts of memory consumption of your computer. And so you can crash the computer when you do this. So I want to warn you, when you do this, save often, because if you don't, you're going to crash your computer and lose a lot of your work. So if you take a look here, regardless of why I needed to do this, it's geometric complexity. And I wouldn't necessarily want to have to create that. But I used a X and a Y pattern at a distance and a specific number. This could be any shape you want. These could be extrude cuts instead. And the whole point of me showing you this, obviously, is just to save you some work. Now we could do this exact same thing and the same purpose when it comes to circles. The only difference is instead of picking an axis, you pick a center of rotation and then a number of degrees that the rotation takes in. So if you take a look here, why would we need this? At the moment, it's just hypothetical, but maybe we're trying to grow bacteria and we're trying to increase the surface area of this object so that we have more bacteria per square unit of measurement, right? Why is that important? It's important in fish tanks, right? If you have specific type of bacteria that eat the fish waste, the more bacteria, the better biological situation for waste consumption exists. So there's an engineering reason why we would need it. But I just wanted to show this and document it so that you can kind of review it. Okay, so this was gone over just a little bit. It's 8 minutes and 15 seconds, so I'm going to stop. And I'll record a circle one later, but I think you could probably figure out circular pattern on your own. Okay, but this would be interesting to see the 3D printer make. So the idea is you're making something of kind of just mental, artistic creation, unless you can come up for a reason why you'd need something like what I just created. Okay? So there you go.